Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 337. I do have the live chat window, so we won't run into the problems trying to troubleshoot during the live show this morning. I think I figured it out. So when the live chat box where in the to the right of your video, it says top chat with a little drop down. I clicked the arrow and I it only showed like a couple letters of a word. So I just clicked on that and boom, the chat window popped up. But when I click like the three dots, it like something it like self-destructs. What's up, Herman? Good morning. So yeah, I can see your chats. So it is Friday. Yesterday was my anniversary, our 4-year anniversary. So my wife is actually sick, like not sick, but she doesn't have a voice. I laugh. She doesn't have she doesn't have a voice, like scratchy throat, like all that business. So we had to cancel our reservations for dinner, but we did do carry out from the restaurant, and it was underwhelming. It's a nice restaurant, but sometimes I'm annoyed because the prices are really high and you don't get enough. You walk away hungry and you paid a ton of money. But I've come to find there are certain dishes that you get enough. So I tend to gravitate. I tried something new last night and I was completely underwhelmed. So fortunately, they give you a healthy amount of truffle fries, and I filled up on fries. So that was good. I did take half a day off of work today, because I didn't do anything hobby related last night. Actually, I take that back. I did some sorting on the couch. So this is how we spent our anniversary. We ordered takeout, and watched Jeopardy. And then my wife had a bunch of, she had more shipping to do than I did. She was shipping out like, her and her mom are in business together in real estate, and they send out, ahead of football season, they send out like the Badger football, Green Bay Packers, football schedules on like this, it's a magnet. And so you hang it on your fridge. And it's got the local football schedule. So she was mailing those out, putting those in envelopes. So I brought up my Bowman, which, by the way, Ken, I just saw your comment on, I think, yesterday's video. So he's confused. I'm confused myself on what my favorite product is because, yeah, I love Bowman, which is what I was sorting last night. So I in all the Bowman that I have opened, I've sleeved all the rookies. I've sleeved all of the Chrome and the Bowman Firsts. So I've got like 2 800 row boxes of those. So I wanted to get those sorted because I want to get those listed on eBay. My eBay sales have stunk this week. I'll get to that in a bit. So I was sorting those out. Bowman is basically my favorite. But I have this like infatuation with Allen and Ginter, which I've told the story. Well, I told the story yesterday. I opened one of my first hobby boxes back in the hobby in 12 or 13. I pulled the Willie Mays rip card, and then the story with my dad, after his passing, and then the story of picking up my case in a tornado warning. So and I love Allen and Ginter, but I probably wouldn't consider it my favorite anymore. I think Bowman has kind of superseded. And here's another reason. Here's the main reason. And I think Herman and I were talking about this maybe in his Monday night show, in the chat. One of the reasons that I think Bowman sways as my favorite is because you can't go wrong with hobby or retail in terms of what you get in the box. Now, the price differential is insane. So I'm not going to buy a $350 hobby box of Bowman, but if I can get it on tops.com for 200 or 250, I'll pay that price. In retail, you actually get some decent, because the base cards in Bowman carry the product. And of course the chrome autographs, which are in the hobby, mainly. So you can buy a $20 blaster, or the 25 now, a $25 blaster, in the first 2 weeks of release. If you pull an Austin Martin first chrome, that has now, the prices of those have, come up, and you can sell that. I think I sold the first one sold for like $45. The second one sold for like 35 or 40. So that pays for your box right there. Allen and Ginter is the opposite. It's absolutely garbage in the retail format. And I talked about this because the short prints are basically commons. Like the high number short prints in Allen and Ginter, their resale value is basically the same as a typical common. And, you'll find them on sport lots for 18 cents. And that's basically all you get. If you do get a hit in Allen and Ginter retail, it's going to be the crappy dollar relics that nobody wants. So that's why I prefer Bowman over Allen and Ginter, because I can buy whatever format. But I choose retail for Bowman because of the price differential. What's up, Zach? Good morning. Herman gets to open his first Ginter this year. It's a really fun product. I love it. I did a case last year. I'm not doing that this year. So last year we were all, hunkered down at home. So I had, I wasn't going to card shows. So basically eBay was my outlet, to buy stuff. And I kind of I either like ripping open boxes or, going to card shows and picking up stuff. So I didn't have that last year. So I splurged on a case, overpaid, and it was a bloodbath. And last year was kind of funny. Like the collation in products was really crappy. And so I think I definitely got a dud case. Like there was usually Allen and Ginter in a case has a case hit. And that's why people say buy a case because you're guaranteed the case hit. I kind of like to gamble, and like it paid off for me in 2015, where I bought loose boxes from both Blowout and I think Dave and Adams, and I got a case hit in each of those. I think I bought 3 from each place, and I got the case hit from Blowout, and I got a case hit from Dave and Adams. Now you could buy 20 loose boxes and not get a case hit. So that's where, buying loose boxes can come back and bite you, buy loose boxes instead of the case. But I rolled the dice and it was fun. Will I do any Allen and Ginter this year? Still up in the air. Probably not. Actually, I can't say that because it depends on what I find at the National. It's most likely that I'm going to, buy a lot at the National, and that's going to, take away most of what I want to spend here in the near term on cards. So I probably won't be buying any Allen and Ginter, but in the event that I just don't find much at the National and have money left over from my National budget, then I may buy a box or two. Definitely not buying a case of Ginter this year. But it kind of depends on how the National goes. There's another big show 2 weeks later in the Dells, the Wisconsin Dells show in the middle of August. So I'm going to go up to that for a day. So we'll see. So Allen and Ginter this year is kind of, I don't know. So the National, I'll be leaving next Wednesday morning. I'm super stoked. I'm actually putting final preparations. I've got my show tomorrow. So just getting that, squared away. And then Sunday I can focus on, getting getting stuff ready, what I'm taking to the national, and what I mean by what I'm taking is any trades. I've got a few trades lined up. I'm probably not going to be, adding a huge amount to my Cubs count at the national because I'm focused on quality outside of dollar box. Now, most of my time will be spent in the bargain boxes, at the singles club, dollar boxes. Jennings card business has great 50-cent dollar boxes. So that's where I'll spend a lot of my time. So I'll be buying quantity in those booths. But my targets are quality, and I'm looking for pre-war vintage. I'm that 1887 Allen and Ginter. Cap Anson is my target. But again, if I go home without it, I'm not going to be upset because it's got to be, within a certain price range, and it's got to be, if there's one that's in my price range but it's got paper loss, I don't want it. Like, I do want a beater, but I don't want paper loss. I like character. I like the beat upness. That's not even a word of vintage. But I don't like paper loss. I like to see everything on the card, even if it's, just beat to hell. So it's got to be in my price range, and it's got to have no paper loss and just present nice. So it's not like there's going to be that card at like 20 booths. It's probably going to be pretty limited. There may only be a few copies. So it's just got to fit my price range, and the overall looks have to be what I'm looking for. So that's kind of my target for the national. Can't wait. Gonna be so much fun. I'm printing off. I downloaded the maps. So I got to print those off today because I'm beelining to the singles club on Wednesday night. That's my first stop. And I plan on just basically staying, like, that's the first booth, and I'm going to spend hours, as much time as I can at that booth. That's where I'm, spending all my time. And then Thursday I'll hit up probably the Jennings booth, because every time I've dug through their bargain boxes, whenever I show off like awesome 50-cent, like even to this day, it may have been 3 or 4 months ago when I flip a 50-cent card for $20, it's usually from their booth. And, I hit up their booth at every show they're at in Chicago. They're the card shop in Freeport that, I've gone to twice now, and I've found amazing stuff every time. I bought a bunch of stuff from them at the Dell show. So that'll be my stop number 2. And then Friday will be that'll be like my shopping for the pre-war stuff. So the bargain boxes take precedent for me on the first day and a half, and then by Friday, that's when I'm going to be looking for my basically my want list, because I have some targets along with the pre-war. I'm looking for a Chris Bryant Affleck autograph. And what else was there? There was one other thing, and then there's just some random stuff. If I that catch my eye, I'll pick up. So final preparations for tomorrow's card show: Madison, Wisconsin, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free admission. We're going to have 30 vendor tables, which to me, that's a success. I thought 25. That was kind of my target. 25. If we can have 25 tables for a July show, that's a success in my eyes, because, and I've said this before, it's really hard to compete with Wisconsin summers, especially here in Madison. People come to Wisconsin and Madison to vacation because it's that nice and there's so much to do. So having a hotel card show is not really top of mind for people. They don't want to hang out in a hotel on a beautiful Saturday in the summer when we have so few summer days. But I'm the type of guy that will do that. So tomorrow, 9 to 3, Sheraton Hotel, 30 tables. I'll have my bargain boxes. Like I said yesterday or the day before, I've added probably more than 5,000. I think I've added, 2,000, at least 2,000 Olympics singles cards from 2016. So in there, you're going to find Allie Raisman, Megan Rapinoe, Hope Solo, Candace Parker, Maya Moore, pretty much everybody from that set, except there's no Simone Biles and there's no Michael Phelps. And the person that I bought this bulk lot from, he had pulled those cards, so I didn't even pull those. So I'll have a 3-row box, all Olympics cards. Opening ceremonies is actually probably going on right now. It'll be broadcast tonight here in the States, but they're what, 7-8 hours ahead of us, I think. So the opening ceremonies tonight. So Olympics are on the air. I found a couple other like 800 count boxes that I did not have in my bargain boxes, so I'll be putting those in. So that's what I've got going on. Oh, and I've pumped up the dollar boxes. So a ton of dollar boxes, or a ton of cards in the dollar boxes. So that will be in tomorrow at my table tomorrow. Last thing I want to touch on, eBay sales have really tanked for me this week. And I don't know, what that can be attributed to. And there's multiple reasons. It's there for eBay sales. I'm not adding so here's what I've come to. I think these are the reasons why this week has really sucked for my eBay sales. Number one, I'm not adding many items into my store. So obviously the less inventory you have, the less eyeballs and the less sales. So you want to just keep adding and adding and adding. So at the peak, when I was selling the most cards on eBay, I think my listing total was around 4,200. And then there was several variation listings with several hundred cards. So, probably 8,000 cards in my eBay store. Well, now that I've got other things going on, and that was like in the middle of, that was A, the middle of winter, and B, we were still, locked down basically. So, so that has a ton to do with it, because people are not spending as much time on eBay and buying cards. They're going to shows and using that money in other places. So that's going to bring your sales down. So my listings total has gone from 4,200 at its peak back in like February, March, when I was just pumping 500 a week on File Exchange, down to, I think, 2,700 is what I listed just a couple items last night, and I'm like, oh wow, I need to do a File Exchange upload because I'm way down. 2,777 active listings. So probably around 4,000 cards in my eBay store. So I'm at about 50% of where I was at the max. Not the max, but at my peak. The pandemic, restrictions loosening, things opening up, that has a huge amount to do with it. Obviously, we see, sales volume is dropping overall, and sales dollars are dropping. So that has a little bit to do with it. I think the item specifics, I noticed, and this is kind of a good thing, that as I was going through 2018, last week I found a Shohei Ohtani Chrome rookie in my eBay box. I'm like, this should have sold years ago. It didn't, fortunately, because I think I was selling those for like $3 or $4. I put it up for $50 and it sold, boom, within like 6, 7, 8 hours. So I think what happened was it didn't get renewed in my eBay store when it 2 years ago, because the specific, the required item specifics weren't in there. So I think I've lost some listings because the specifics weren't up up to date. And now a lot of those I'm not going to bother with, because if it's anywhere between 99 cents and $3, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to spend that time. That time can be used, I'd rather just pump in new 99-cent cards, $2 cards, in bulk, than to, update old listings that, they're stale anyway. They've been sitting in the store for, a year or more. So they're not moving anyway. And just kind of, it's a loss, throw them in a trade box or a quarter box. So I think that's part to do with it. I found, I was going through Topps Chrome, and I found a whole bunch of cards that just weren't, and I don't know, I'll have to go in, were they not good till canceled listings? I don't know. But I've found a bunch of cards, and fortunately they were, Otanis or Tatis from early. So those are some of the main reasons why I think the eBay sales are down. Also, another big reason is, and I've talked about this before, you're going to see a spike when new items are listed, and you're going to see a spike when the clock runs down. So if you don't have, say I have, of those 2,777 listings, I haven't really added many cards, maybe a dozen in the last few days to my eBay store. So so when people search newly listed, none of my cards are going to come up except for, a very small, minimal percent, because I haven't added many cards. And depending on, if I did a bulk upload of File Exchange, say a few days, 2 weeks in a row, all of a sudden, I may see a spike 30 days later, because all of a sudden their clock is ending soon. So how do people sort their eBay when you're looking for Bobby Bradley? You're looking for Bobby Bradley. And when I search for somebody like Chris Bryant, I'm searching usually ending soonest. And then if it's a targeted card that I'm looking for, I'll do newly listed. So those are some of the search tactics. So, if you've got a bunch of listings, if all of your listings are like 15 days away from ending, it may be a lot slower in sales, because you're not catching either end of the spectrum. They've been up for 2 weeks, and they still have 2 weeks left. So they're going to be like in the middle of, of a million cards. They're like number 500,000. So you're not going to catch them in the front or in the back. So I think that has something to do with it. And I think that has a lot to do with when I see spikes in my sales, 1 week, it's like, I can't keep up. And then the next week, like this week, I'm only getting, a few sales, which is nice, because I'm trying to get ready for both the National and the Madison show. So this week it's been nice to kind of catch up on shipping, so I can focus on getting stuff ready. And then, I can put my store on vacation next week. So, I think there's a lot that goes with it. It's not just one or two things. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And, a lot of, in another, like, there's just so many, there's like a dozen or more reasons. Another reason is, like, for Bowman, some of my cards, and even going back to Topps flagship, a lot of these cards, I don't update prices, which is good and bad. Like, I probably had a dozen of those Otani Chromes, because I bought a ton of Topps Update and Topps Chrome Update in 2018. And I probably had a dozen of those Otanis, and I listed them at the time. They were selling for $3-4. And I had a dozen at $3 or $4. And at the time, that was the going rate. And so people were getting $3-4. They were buying. And, it's not like somebody came in and bought all of them, because that was the going rate. And then all of a sudden they start climbing, and they go to $6 or $7, and people are getting a deal because I don't update my pricing. But on the other hand, Topps Series 1 at release, a home run challenge card, is going to sell for twice as much as what it would middle of the season. So, and I don't go back and, I may have a home run challenge card for $4 in my eBay store when the going rate right now is $1 or $2. So that could be another reason. The price is just, if your prices are not competitive, you're not going to sell those cards. So that's my eBay soapbox, which it's actually kind of I hate not making those sales because especially ahead of the National, I want to squeeze every dollar. But it's nice to not be, on top of shipping around the clock. That's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. No live show tomorrow because of the show. I will be tweeting. I probably won't do any. I haven't done at any of the shows. I haven't done any live videos during the show because there's just stuff going on. So I won't do any videos during the show outside of capturing some show video and posting. The Twitter handle for the show is @Madison Card Show, by the way. So I will be tweeting out a ton of content from the show itself. So look out for that tomorrow on Twitter. And then Sunday I will be clearing out my car so I can make room for new cards for next week, and then getting everything really pulled together for the National. Thank you, Zach. He's headed to the Sox Brewers game with your dad. That's awesome. Have fun. Go Sox. I said it. Go Sox. Beat those dang Brewers. So yeah, I'll be rooting for the White Sox. So have a good weekend. I will be live on Sunday morning with a recap of the Madison Card Show. And then, of course, like I said, content throughout the day on Twitter, but no live show tomorrow. Have a wonderful Friday, and we'll see you Sunday.